Have you ever wondered, how did I get here? Have you ever wondered, what is going on in my life? What is really going on with me? Throughout my childhood, those are some of the questions I had to ask myself. What is going on in my life and how did I get here? And let's take it back a little bit. As a child, there are things that we go through. Of course, we cannot explain how they happen. They just happen in our lives. And throughout that course, it's beating us down, down, and further down into the ground. So as you're getting beat down to the ground, you don't know how to look up. You don't know where to go, and you don't know what to do because you are still considered a child. So throughout your childhood, you get beat down even more. And now you're a teen, you're getting beat down. So you're really trying to figure out who you are and how did you get to this place. And let's talk about how we got there. We got there by things in our household, people in our lives, showing us different things. And of course, we don't know any better and we adapt to those things. So a lot of times, the things that we go through is because of other people that instilled it in us in our lives. So now here you are as a young adult, or you are an adult, and you can't figure out what is going on. It's here. It's all mental. Let's go back to when I was a teen. When I was a teen, I did so many things and I couldn't figure out why I was doing those things. What was going on in my life at that moment that made me want to do those things? I always say made me, right? It was your childhood. Your childhood has a significant influence on your life, whether you like it or not. We don't have any control over that. So the trauma, the different adversities, even being brought up in low income households and struggling and looking at people get abused and sexual molestation, just all those different kinds of things lead you into your adulthood and you cannot figure out what has happened. So let's go to an adulthood. We are here now. So what do? We have to forgive ourselves. Forgive ourselves from the things that happened in our childhood. We had no control over that. Forgive ourselves as we forgive others. So, yes, the person that molested you, yes, the person that beat you, and yes, your parents that you feel did not raise you properly, you must forgive. That is something that I had to do as I went through my journey. I had to forgive. And let's be honest, that's one of the hardest things that we have to go through is forgiveness. But when you don't forgive, you hold on to anger, hurt, and pain. And when you hold on to that, you lash out at other people who have not done anything to you. So how do we get over all that hurt, anger, and pain? Forgiveness. And what are some other things that we can do to get over that? We can go within to figure out what's going on. So I was in my say early mid 30s. I was about 33 in 2017. I was almost 300 pounds. I was angry at the world. I couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I said, there is something that had to happen. I started sitting down and I started really analyzing my life. What has happened in my childhood to allow this anger? And that's where it came from. That childhood trauma would keep you down to the ground. We're no longer there anymore. We're going to elevate. We're going to grow. We're going to evolve. That's what we're going to do, right? So as we do that, it's some things that we have to, a lot of the work is mental. A lot of the work is mental. So when I started my journey, it was my health journey. I was almost 300 pounds and I couldn't walk up the stairs. I'm like, no, this cannot be happening to me. So when I started my health journey, my mindset started to shift. And when my mindset shifted, I didn't know what was going on because this was something new to me. And as my mindset started to shift, I started doing things externally, like going to do yoga, going to do meditation, going to the sauna and steam room. And when my mindset started to shift, I started to speak positive affirmations. I am proud of myself. I love myself. And that's where my self-love, self-care, self-worth, self-value, self-discipline, it all came full circle. And I'm not going to say that it all came at once, but when it came, I was able to see who I really, really am. I'm no longer that person or that child that have to go through that hurt, anger, and pain. I'm no longer that person that feels rejected when I walked in the room. I'm no longer that person that feels abandoned, like no one loves me. Because through it all, I love me. And that's all that matters. So in 2017, I started taking myself through a self-healing journey. And this self-healing journey has opened my eyes to things that I didn't even think was possible. I am an introvert. Through all the trauma and the childhood adversities that I went through, I didn't know how to talk. I didn't understand my smile. I didn't see my teeth. I saw hurt, anger, and pain. When I talked about my past, I used to cry. Why is this happening to me? I went within. It was time for me to go within. And that's something that I really didn't hear from anyone else. When I went within, I started to rise early. I started to meditate. I started to listen to different kinds of music to set the mood in my mind. Like, it was just so amazing. I started to eat healthier. I started to meal prep. I started to walk. I don't care too much for exercise. I'm not going to say I don't like it, but I started to sweat, releasing the toxins from my body. I started smiling. I started journaling. I started reading. I started to learn things about me, because self-love, self-care, self-worth is very important. Just all the things that I can think of, I just started to do in a positive mindset. And it has helped me on levels that I did not think was possible. When I started to do that, I started to hang around different people. My circle of influence has changed. I said, no longer will I be this woe is me little girl. No longer will I have that pity party. I'm on a different level now. My mindset is still working daily. Of course, we have triggers. Of course, we have things that go on throughout the day. But when I set myself up for the day, because I create the day that I want. So when I create the day that I want, I'll write down my affirmations for the day. I meditate before I start my day. I talk to myself because I can control majority of the things that happen in my circle of influence. We cannot control everything, but I have learned that I can control majority of the things that happens in my circle of influence. Do I have moments? Yes, but I don't have bad days. I have moments. Sometimes when I feel like shutting down, guess what I do? I listen to motivational music. I let people know that, hey, we can do this. There's more that we can talk about. But until then, check out my ebook on my website, www.starlifewellnessgroup.com. And you will be able to see other things that I was able to do to help myself to get where I am and become the woman that I am. Thank you all so much.